Oh, seven star citizens, and welcome to Answer the Call, your weekly podcast and call-in show where we talk about everything Star Citizen that's happened over the last week and sometimes random topics. And we get you guys to call in and tell us everything you have to say about those things. And this week, it's a big 4.1 launch. How are you doing, Mike?
Really good. Really good. Turn off
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
intro. I did it. It's going really good. The event, or Elliot was very mad that it was called an event.
Yep.
Because it's a sandbox activity that's not going to go away like all the other events have.
Yeah.
It's going awesome.
Yeah.
It's been
I think
really
everyone's
good.
calling it an event because we had with 3 months back to back
Exactly.
of here's a patch with an event, here's a patch with an event, and then it's like here's a patch with a like a sandbox activity that you can do that very
Yep.
much feels like an event.
Exactly. No, it's fantastic. Like some of the best times I've had in the game in a long time, regardless of I'm not ignoring that the issues are bad. But
Yeah.
fighting through them, dealing with them, hopping servers, you got to be kind of persistent and you'll, well, I'm not going to say you'll have a good time. That'll be part of our, what we talk about today. But the, uh, the group I've been playing with is having a good time. And just so people
Yep.
know, myself, my org, and another org who's not very well liked by lots of people, work together, are working together to try to get the world first Polaris turn in to Wicklow. So,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to say how close we are to done, but we're very happy with the results so far. So soon.
Oh yeah. It looks like you were having a good time just before the pod started.
Yeah.
With quite a lot of people in a massive op.
It was a big like basically it was like it didn't even start yet either, but it was going to be about 2 to
Yep.
3 Polarises on either side fighting each other. It looked like.
Yeah.
So we stopped everything we were doing, jumped in a Polaris, and was like, "Let's go." And I was like, "No, I have to leave for the podcast." So I had somebody take my spot, and here we are. So I'm happy to be here.
They'll get world first without you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's going really well. How much the timing of it, it was a Thursday. So did you get any time
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
game?
so
Okay.
they released it at what is now a good time for me
Yeah.
because I now go in early. At work, we have streamer booths.
Nice.
And so my new plan on Fridays is I'll stream during the day in the streamer booth, and then I've got work at night.
Nice.
So I was able to play the patch on Friday for most of the day, and got to experience a lot of bad, and I do
Yeah.
mean a real lot of bad,
Yeah.
and then some little bits of good. So
What'd you get
um,
into?
we went straight for Hathor.
Of
Just
course,
me
yeah.
and one other guy just went straight for Hathor, and it was working, which was surprising because like everyone I was getting information from was day one. Hathor was broken completely everywhere.
No, that was not
Um,
true.
oh,
But
it's that I saw no information about good Hathor day one from anyone.
it was working great for us the whole time. Yeah.
Classic Mike streamer privilege.
I
The
actually not. That never happens to me. Like there's
yeah,
this
fair.
huge joke about between like me and Burks is like it just is like it just always works for him, and then it comes to me in the morning and it never works. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
everything was aligning. The lasers were
yeah.
firing. We ran into a couple of issues. There's just like one issue up at the top OLP that if you like
Actually,
pull the card
I
before you
think you were
press the
in our
button,
server, so
yeah,
this makes sense because I
yeah.
think we checked at one point. So
And what we were doing was just taking caves from other people that like, oh, there's a laser
nice.
firing over here. Psst, our cave
Yeah.
now, not yours. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how it was going. It was like you could do all the steps, but we're getting the Karenite and Saldinium
Yeah.
and everything out of there, not you. And
Yes.
that's just one of the ways it's going to be. It's a PvP event. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. So you
PvP
either
activity.
yeah,
You don't want to piss Elliot off.
sandbox activity. So you either PvP or you don't, and it's up to you.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. And yeah, so like the event itself, at least, now I'm saying it. The activity itself worked for us like when we were doing it. But the biggest glaring issue that we had was desync.
100%, 100%.
Desync was it may be the worst it had ever been from my
Mhm.
experience. And the reason why I'm going to say that is First off, hi everyone. The patch launched this week. 4.1 is out. We kind of just jumped right into it, but it did release on Thursday. It came with all the ships. It came with this new activity. The activity during PTU caused a lot of problems on PTU and was one of the things that was probably the most buggy. And a lot of that seems to have come through to live. Today, or yesterday, I guess, we were supposed to do the first week of the System 7. The first week of the race series. And for the first time ever, we had to postpone it last minute.
Because of how bad everything was?
Because of how bad the desync was. There was a video that got shown because our admin was like testing the race and whatnot. And cars are just like going inside of each other and flying off to the side, and people are stopping. Like, it's just absolutely terrible. Completely unplayable for that perspective. The 24-hour Crocs Cup, which just finished about 2 hours ago, which was awesome. Good job, Crocs Cup. That was insane.
Yeah, I heard it was fun.
They had similar desync issues, but it was a little bit more salvageable there because you've got a lot more distance between each ship and stuff, right?
I heard Red Monster did good.
Yeah. He did not.
Oh,
okay. He did stuff, but his team came second last, I think.
Yeah. Oh, second to last? Chat said second. They forgot the to last. Oh.
Yeah, they forgot the to last.
I think I congratulated him.
He did the last leg for his group, which is kind of cool.
I DM'd him, and I'll put this out there too to anybody who's watching. Until we reach the amount of Quantanium we need, I am buying Quantanium for 75,000 per SCU. Okay, so anybody out there, just hop into twitch.tv/SaltEMike, type org, and you'll find my org's Discord there, and we're buying Quantanium from you because there's one of the biggest bugs actually is for miners. All the planetary stuff is just, you know how it was like invisible and you can't mine it outside of the stuff in the caves.
Yep.
It's been really messy. So it's normally around 22, 23, 24K, something like that. And we're buying it for triple the price. So yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I like that as it's like you would do that anyway because you're trying to go for world first, like regardless of necessarily how hard it is and how buggy the mining has been. But I do like that is a very like player driven economy thing.
Yeah, holy shit! Imagine that, right? So I mean, we've gotten most of it already, but just trying to clean it up towards the end now. And yeah, this is us in the caves. And what was crazy is while I was doing this, there was A2s bombing. Like the cave is just, you're kind of doing your thing, you're quiet, and then everybody above us was making sure like nobody was coming in FPS, nobody was coming in ships. This was the most organized like group operation I've ever done in Star Citizen, and it was amazing. And the geos are so fun, so cool to use. They're overpowered in comparison to the ROC in some ways, at least for this specifically, because you just don't need that much. Like, look at this, you know, it's just, that's so cool. You just don't need that much cargo space, right? So the rock might find its place with cargo space, but because this can do ROC size minables, this can do hand minables. If you press Alt 4, it like lowers and raises the power. And like, so this is a hand mineable, and I might struggle with it a little bit until I figure it out. There's no UI marker on it to tell you which mode you're in, which is super weird. And I don't know if you know, but you can mine literal prospector minables with this thing. You just got to put a gadget on, and you can mine big rocks, but you just can't scoop stuff. So it's really funny. Yeah. But thing's fantastic. The experience has been awesome. It was like, you know, they take a cave, they open a cave, the group that we're with, and then they call us in. We all come out, flying out of our ship in the geos. We go down the cave. We call, we're done. We extract, and then we all put the ore together. It was awesome, dude. It was awesome. So yeah, we were running with Shadow Moses and stuff. I know people don't like them very much, but don't care. It's been so fun.
They're good at PvP tournaments, so I legally have to like them.
Yeah.
No, like it sounds like you've probably gotten a lot more experience than most people have with the event so far over the course of the
100%.
weekend. Like, how many hours do you reckon you've put into it so far?
Me, not that much, because similar to you, weekends are a little tough for me. We had family gathering of somebody's birthday, so I didn't play as much as I wanted to. But I know they're 18-hour days is what people have done since Thursday night, you know? So it's to get this, it's going to be a challenge for people. But in general, I don't think people are going to it's a sandbox activity. It's going nowhere. So
exactly.
You will get what you want. It's just going to take you time, and you just have to deal with it. And like they've already said, and I know you can't trust them, but you know, the Karenite that you farm, you should be able to keep into the next patch. It worked that way throughout every PTU, and so it's
I guess
you'll get your chance.
The big thing is, like, I see this as a like Thursday raid night activity type thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? This is your big weekly org activity. Everyone comes in, just, you know, slams through a couple of runs of it, and then, you know, eventually you're gonna have the rewards. How the one thing that, so obviously it's gonna be popping off right now. It's gonna probably pop off for the next like week or so.
Can I stop you for a second? The chat's making fun of me, saying it has no UI prompt when there's two clear UI prompts on the screen right in front of you. There's one that says low right here, and there's low power right there. So I looked at chat, and then I looked at the screen, and I was like, oh, shit, it's right there. Well, weekend review is going to look stupid this week.
Yeah, absolutely got. Right, you could just edit, like make it black and white and just put like, well, I'm blind over that entire section in the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, the concern that I had during PTU was like, how quickly would this die down, basically. There's 4 locations, similar to like CZ started to become a little bit dead after a while.
The Hathor side has the potential to die at some point, but the Wicklow thing, no, never probably, because they could just continuously add more things for you to collect and give him, right? So hopefully it's not all Karenite, Seldinium, and Jacklium based. Hopefully it's a little bit more variety that you can get from him in the future. But that's why this is still an event, because until they change some things as far as the turn-ins go, it's kind of an event, right? So it's a little bit weird. But yeah, I think this will die down slower than before, depending on what people's goals are. Like, if your goal as an org is to get the Polaris, good luck. You're going to be working at this for a while. Yeah. No matter if you have resistance or not. Like, I think at this point there was like FPS fights outside, and I think it gets chaotic here. Very cool. I don't want a tier 0 rant anymore, but this is one of the moments I think where
it just released.
Lost.
It just released, right? Like
Yep, this is it. This is the moment. You ready for this? The guy over there is abusing the mechanics, and not in a negative way. I'm not trying to get this guy in trouble or anything like that at all. He has a railgun. You ready for what a railgun does? One shot, full death.
Yeah.
One shot, full death. And guess how many times we killed that guy before this?
Yeah, like dozens, I imagine. Like,
he spawned with the railgun ammo on him. The only thing they balanced, I lost my mind, so I'm not even going to show that because I started losing my shit. The only thing that they balanced was the grenade launcher, because people were like, "Oh, the grenade launcher is going to be overpowered." So then they just used something else that was overpowered. And now you have to balance all these things for a weird decision that they made, right? So it's just like, just drop the guns, just drop the ammo at the minimum. There's just so many things they could have done differently before this went live. And they were just like, nope, we're going to roll with it. And those are the kind of things that were happening. That's what I will say about the event, is that the comms, 90% of the comms were check for try to find the nurses, try to find it was constant trying to, it was COD zombies, and you were just constantly trying to stop the zombies from being able to respawn. Like, that was the experience. So when you were holding, the constant thing that you were dealing with was tier 0 item implementation recovery. Yeah. So that was like one of the, just, I'm not angry about it, because let me go on the complete opposite side. You know, I respawned. I had all my gear and I just ran right back, right? Like, there's obviously bonuses to this as well. And so there's negatives and positives.
And to note, at least for me, I am still dying more to bugs than I am to players.
Yeah, I wasn't, but we were in fights the entire time. But yeah, so in general, the experience for players is going to be, that's why this is here. I totally understand it. But there's two sides to every coin here. And like, you know, I very clearly showed you the experience of a gun that was not balanced for it. The ammo comes right back on the character, and the guys respawning on over and over again. And it was just silly. And he gave me a crime stat. I literally stopped shooting at him because I did 1, 2, and I was like, oh, he's dead. And he wasn't. But yeah, so that's been like the really fun side of the experience. And then the tier 0 thing has really creeped in to the experience a lot. It's become a lot of the PvP experience is, well, okay, how are we going to deal with the respawners? Like, you can't do that at contested zones, which is whatever anyway. They were coming back quickly for the most part, because you just buy the armor there and go. But yeah, so that's kind of how it went. It was I had a great time. I was able to get back in the action a bunch of times, but it still has, you know, still, I think they could still tweak it and make it where we're getting our stuff back, but not everything, and find that right balance. It's just a matter of if they want to do it or if they wanted to wait and see what happens or whatever. But yeah. Yep. That's all I've done is Hathor, though. I have not taken out the golem. Yep. I have not tried any mining. I haven't tried rock mining with it. I haven't done anything other than Hathor content. Have you flown any of the new ships or done anything with them?
Only in PTU. Have not done live.
Yeah. I want to like do a stealth golem kind of thing.
Yep.
And see how stealthy it can get. But I don't know, what else do you want to talk about on like 4.1, or do you want to jump into some of the stuff that we saw this week?
Like 4.1 just is the Hathor activity, and that's kind of the main thing. So it's and Wicklow, but that is obviously an extension of that activity in some ways. So I'm down to go into the ships, and the like we obviously talked about the ships last week, but now we have a
price.
We have the price, which this is the first time I would recommend a ship to like. I'll go back. The ship is very cheap. The golem is cheap.
Yeah,
if we want to start there.
Scroll down, and there it is.
Yeah, 55 USD war bond. That is very cheap. That is
now,
really
this
cheap.
Is without a game package. To be clear,
that's true.
This is the game package, and I'll kind of zoom out a little bit.
Currently discounted.
Yes,
so it'll turn into $75 afterwards.
Correct. $75 is where, and you know, that's kind of something to look at, right? Is go.
Yeah. Okay,
they think their game is $75. Like,
yeah, kind of. That's sort of what it feels like, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, like you get people coming in all the time, and Mike, I'm sure you get it as well, where people are asking, you know, what ship should I start off with? And we always end up recommending, you know, one of like 3 different ships as like starter ships.
Yep.
Where it's like the Titan, or it's like just go as cheap as possible, Mustang Aurora, or whatever. But there's never an industrial option ever, except with maybe the exception of the Nomad.
Yeah, and that's like iffy kind of.
Yeah,
industrial.
It's like if you want to do cargo, go the Nomad. Otherwise, it's whatever, right? Go cheaper. This is the first time I've been like, holy crap, like this is. I want people to buy this, weirdly. I actually want new players to try this out and use it because it's really good.
Yeah, me too.
The ship is a good experience for new industrial players.
Kind of. I think the laser needs some changes to it. I think the idea of having both high instability and high resistance on a laser for a new player is not the way you want to introduce them to the game. And that's the only thing I would change is like it's just a bit odd to put that on the player and just be like, hey, it's going to be harder for you to mine on this ship than the other ships. And instead of it being like less powerful, less efficient, or something like that like you would normally see in another game, it would be like easy to use, but you're just not able to do everything with it kind of thing. Like that's the typical, if you were going to do a stepping stone or a ladder toward between your ships, right? It wouldn't be like, yo, this is the most unstable laser there is. You know?
Yeah,
this is the laser with the most negatives on it. It's kind of weird to do it that way.
I understand where you're coming from. My experience so far, at least when I was in the PTU playing it, there are still like there are what's the word? There just is tons of rocks that you can mine, just straight up. Like it is not a problem.
You know what you're doing.
A half. That's true. That's true. But
that's what I'm
like.
This
easy.
This is for the I don't know what I'm doing person. It's like, is this the one you want to like have them have the laser on? So hear me out here. I have an idea. You ready?
Yep.
You remove the instability aspect of it. You can keep the resistance because you want to teach them to be like, if I put a module on here, it will solve this debuff, right? So, okay, negative resistance, that can be a pain. You put this thing on, it'll go away. What if a starter ship had a cluster modifier that was negative? So when you mine rocks, you're able to mine them, but instead, and this is even future-proof, where, okay, there's just going to be one material in each rock, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be inert material in it. So if you're mining, you're not going to get 100% pieces. You might get a lot of 50% pieces, and you got to deal with the inert material because this is a starter ship. This isn't as good. And then you're enticed to go up to a prospector. You're enticed to use a mole because you just have negative cluster modifier with this thing. Like it's a much more soft landing for a new player. It's like, oh,
that's fair.
This is fun, but this one will do things more efficiently, and it's literally just more efficient instead of more powerful. Like you're not taking size 2 lasers off and putting on size 4s. You know what I mean? It's a much simple concept, much more simple concept there. And again, I'll always go to the I hate the stepping stone thing, and would much rather this be like a really good stealth miner, and like just let me switch the lasers, and I don't know, but yeah, that's me.
You could also sort of move it around with like they've said they want to do material quality. You could make it that it just gives you worse material quality.
Yeah, a negative debuff to quality,
crafting and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, that sort of stuff could be a thing. But
burns
as it stands, and obviously I don't have a lot of info from new players who this is their first ship yet.
Yeah,
gotta kind of wait for that.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. So we'll see what happens. It'll evolve, but I will be recommending it to new industrialists.
Me
but
too.
You make a good point that like maybe I've got to put the caveat of like, but also make sure you go to this website that has all this stuff and go, like go learn.
Exactly. Like I just have this brain that is like always what could be better. I'm not trying to say it's bad, but I'm saying
no, of course.
We could do this better. You know, and that's
you're trying to say what you think would feel better as a new player.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's kind of a good way to go. What's your
also
favorite
just to touch quickly on what someone is saying on Twitch, where they're saying do not recommend it because of the fact that you then can't move the refined goods. Yeah, you can't sell the ore first, then rent a ship.
What are they saying? What is this argument?
Well, so if this is your first ship, then how are you moving the refined goods? And the answer is don't sell the ore sales for your first like 3 mining runs, and then you're fine.
Yeah, that's such a silly comment.
It's a non-issue.
You can also rent a cargo ship in the game for super cheap. That's a silly comment.
Exactly.
It's but again, that there's this situation where new players don't know any of this stuff, but all they have to do is
also
type something
don't know
in chat.
about refining. You know what I mean? Like it's it is. Does this help a player mine? Yes, that's literally all it needs to do. The other stuff, CRG need to tell people how to do the other things, but for teaching people how to mine, this is great. this is the other thing. The cool skins. Yes,
like
I
my
did buy them.
colors,
I had
man.
some store credit.
That's
They
like
are
my
in your colors.
colors.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. These are some of the best skins I thought they've ever
This is my
released,
favorite though.
especially on the mall.
I like the
Oh, you're
black.
boring.
I am so boring. I am, but that
Yep.
is what I like the most. Oh, yep, that's the one. Also, people complaining about the lack of an not an inventory, lack of interior. And
hmm
yes, but I think by 1.0 they would have to solve that problem as far as eating, drinking, and things like that. Because there's also
Yeah.
single seater fighters. You know, that issue is not just an issue with this, but it is like kind of weird that most of them have an inventory or interior on industrial ships, right? But I just want to
With
see
that
the
in mind,
stealth of
though,
this. That's my
yeah. With that in
thing.
mind, though, like we always talk about making ships to how players actually use them,
Yeah.
and only being on a mining run for like 30 minutes to an hour is how people use mining ships.
Yep.
So you're gonna be back home, right? You're gonna be able to replenish your food and water and whatever else it is. I think it's fine. I don't think it'll be an issue. But we'll see. This ad, one of the
Good.
best ads
Yeah,
they've
it was
ever done.
really good.
It's so much fun. They literally released this patch where like the biggest content feature is this PvP activity. And then the ad is kind of poking fun at the PvP activity.
Like, I'm just gonna
Just
go
this-
mine over here. Screw those
Yeah,
guys.
I'm
They're
just
dumb.
a little guy.
Yep.
So that
I
was
mean, it's
fantastic.
kind of like pointing out to like, hey man, if you're a solo player, go do this instead. You got this new cool toy
Yeah.
to play with and rock and roll with that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the idea of what this ship could be. I think they did a pretty good job. Obviously, we've talked about like the interacting with the laser and putting things up. There's a lot of problems with this thing.
Yeah, there's some weird quality of life issues.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good with it. So, and the best thing so far is the price. Very surprised by that and very happy by it. Now it really comes down to what's the separation with the player or prospector?
The prospector.
Are the cargo holds going to be that big, or is that just a bug of what people are doing right now, or is they really think being able to swap a laser is worth an extra $100? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do to separate these ships and things like that. But again, I'll continue to say I would love to see a world where you needed both at the same time. That would be fantastic. For whatever reason. Like, what if we do the opposite of what I say? And then, when you combine a bunch of Drake Golems together, your cluster modifier is all of a sudden better. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take the like things that we have now and just go, how can this be better? And I just keep thinking about cluster modifier for some reason. That's the one that's sticking out the most to me because resistance and all that. We already have those tools to fix that stuff.
Yeah.
So but good price on it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Golem or the Geo is pretty much what everyone expected around price and stuff like that, right?
I would hope so. I think on the podcast last week, everyone was saying it was going to be like $100.
Well, yeah.
But our viewers are cooked. So
yep.
I mean, they watch us. The
very true.
It's there's not much to say about it. Like, it is cool.
$40.
As you said, like you showed all the stuff on you using it at Hathor.
Yeah.
I'm more just interested to see where they go with it now that they have the jump like the jump pack technology, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Where else can they take other weird terrain vehicles?
I want to see, they've added all these extra lasers and things, but they have not done a good job of balancing the rocks to be like, I can't mine this rock with this laser. I need this laser. And like the mixing and matching and kind of finer details. I think it's very clear to everybody this patch was rushed out. 100%.
Yeah. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, we've had patches that have been rushed out for like sales. I feel like this not necessarily the case. I think this was rushed out so that they can keep the one patch a month promise. that they've like made at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because
But
this
this
sale,
is
I think it
so
doesn't matter if it
big.
happens right now or like next, like 2 weeks from now, right? But
It's so
yeah,
big, the content, that I think that's what why it was kind of sped out, like why it's not ready. And maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of what I want to chat about now. And I don't know if there's something else on your mind, but what do you want them to do? Like, nobody plays the PTU. So how the hell are they going to
Yeah.
get the data they need to know what to do? Right?
I mean, you know what I kind of want is what their solution to some problems today. So because of all of the desync and stuff that we had, they reduced the soft and hard caps on servers, which seemed to improve servers quite a
It
bit.
improved, yes.
So I mean, do that when you release a patch. Do a soft server, like in terms of player experience. Most of the time, I don't think a lot of us are going to experience much difference between 400 and 600 person servers.
Yeah.
Yet, at least.
Like, I just, for me, I'm like also leaning towards like the preview channel like we had with 4.0, but it's going to save your progress thing. I don't know what the answer is, but the PTU is no longer the answer. Like, it just isn't.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. Like, in order to get this game to a place of stability, I think we're just going to have to bang our heads against the wall and sometimes have weekends like we just had. And that's just it. And the problem with those weekends are those are the weekends that everybody wants to play. And then those are the weekends that makes everybody not want to play anymore.
Yeah, everyone has the bad experience right on launch.
I keep seeing PTU incentives. Like, this is what is going. No, that's just not going. No matter what you do, I don't see it working.
Yeah, the only PTU incentive, other than just paying people, that would work would be persistence from your PTU to live, because that's why people don't play the PTU.
Yeah,
is because they do not continue their progress.
Yeah, like, I mean, maybe like paints and skins or something, but is that enough?
That's not help, but
is that enough?
I feel like
you need them just like a live release. That's what they need to see.
We need probably more like, this launched on Thursday. We need the PTU to be full on Wednesday. Right?
I saw somebody say close live. That is actually not the worst idea either. Like, just close live for a weekend.
I don't think it'd work.
I don't think it'd work either,
like
but it's not it's not the worst idea. But I also don't think people still have data caps on their internet, right? Asking them to download stuff that they're not going to play isn't
fair.
Necessarily appropriate. But like, I think it's a better idea than trying to incentivize playing the PTU via rewards and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all I'm saying.
It's the worst idea.
It's not a good idea. I'm not saying it's a good idea. Just to be clear, but it's like there's got to be there. We have to accept that this is how it's going to be. They need to be more willing to do what they need to do to stabilize the game. I'm tired of hearing this is the year of stability and all this bullshit, and then the constant refusal from CIG's end to do what needs to be done, like put the logging you need in. If the patches are unstable because of the logging, let everybody know what you're doing. It is what it is. And then on the opposite end of for our side is, we seem to be very unaccepting of the nature of it, and so I get it. We're just the consumer, and if we're gonna be like, it's shit, and we're not gonna play it. That is what it is. But
I think I'm particularly salty about
get
this weekend just because of the races, though. Like, it's a normal patch release anyway. Like, bugs and instability are like the worst at any patch release for most games that are MMOs.
Yeah.
It just hurts harder this weekend. So as long the stability increased today. If it continues increasing over the week, cool. It should be a good patch. Like 4.02 was fine. If it can at least get to that stage within the week, I'll be mostly happy.
That's where I'm at, is
Yep.
just we gotta suffer in order to
Yep.
get to a point of where when they do actually release patches, or when they do even release like Evos, PTUs, Wave 1s. What about Wave 1 just being open? When everyone's excited. No, you stay in Evo.
Is that not a like different problem though? Because if you just had Wave 1 open, like because the idea of the Wave 1 patch, right, is this patch needs time to cook, right? It's bad.
Yes, but
right? And if you have everyone trying to rush it, then you don't know if those problems are going to be the same problem.
They're abusing what we are. That's what I think is happening. They're abusing what we are as unpaid testers. That's what I think it is. I think they're abusing the fact that we're unpaid testers. The issue council is a joke. They don't, use it properly. Like, there is a massive exploit in the game. I gave them a really hard time for it yesterday, and they deserved it. Mm-hmm. There's a massive exploit in the game right now that is so obvious, and all it would have taken is them doing their jobs, and they didn't. And that, like, all they had to do was check the missions. And there's no way you wouldn't notice this was a problem if you didn't test your work. And they didn't. So I think that they take an advantage of us too much, and they don't do their side of it enough. And that's kind of what I'm frustrated by a little bit, is there's just like some clearly just broken like communication internally or something going on there. And it's not like on anybody specifically, but it's just like maybe like a culture thing, or just like culture's not the right word, but like a system, like how they do things. Mm-hmm. And there's no way this could have not been noticed by them. And it's just very, very silly. But the idea of getting to a Wave 1 PTU when, like, normal Wave 1 PTUs are not Wave 1 PTU. They're Evo. But they're rushing it out because they need more people to play, because Evo got burned out testing extremely unstable, broken shit. It's got to be better when it gets to us in the first place. And you want to incentivize people to play the PTU, have Wave 1 not be a disaster in terms of nothing ready for feedback, nothing working. Stability can be bad, but the content has to be ready for feedback and ready for people. Like, all those ships should have been in on Wave 1. How about this? Mm-hmm. The Geo doesn't work correctly. All mining doesn't work correctly. There's lots of issues with it, but they had no idea that these issues existed because they were in the PTU for 8 hours. Whose fault? How can that be our fault? There's only one side to blame here, and it's theirs. So it's like the choices they're making are leading to these problems, right? It's just stupid stuff that, all you got to do is look at it, learn from your mistakes, and just don't do them next time. And hopefully, as far as this mission exploit, that's fine. And you know what? I'm just going to say it because I don't care. Go ahead and go to your unverified tab and just continuously accept the missions that send you to Hathor. They will autocomplete and pay you. Just do them over and over again and make yourself billions of credits. There you go. How is something like that not caught? Because you didn't test it.
You would also expect that to be like a priority, especially like that's the release.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it was randomly like, oh, one of the Reclaimer missions is bugged, I'd be like, oh, well, sure, who's doing those? But like, yeah, that's not great.
Yep. Just silly. So that's those are things that are going on right now, and it's just like, these are easy to resolve problems, but they're not being resolved because of whatever's happening internally that we don't understand or know. But it's very easy to point out, like, that should not happen. And it's reported, it's on the issue council, and it's been confirmed. Mm-hmm. So we've done our job. They need to do theirs, right? And this was confirmed on the 12th of March, by the way. So keep up the good work, CIG. Like, I'm trying not to be like angry, but it's just one of those things where, and I'm not angry, just to be clear. Mm-hmm. And it might sound like I'm ranting or whatever. It's just like, hey, we could do better. This is where we could do better, and I'm just pointing those things out. And that's all. You know, and I'm sure we're gonna get negative comments on that or whatever, but I don't care. This is what we're here for. This is what this is for, is feedback. Hey, you could give feedback on other things than just, you know, the ship is beautiful. And that's my feedback, is like, that should have never happened. Right. And
yeah, if it was confirmed so long ago, I'm really surprised that they did not just
I'm
turn
not.
that mission off, because it's certainly not required.
I'm not, because nobody internally tested it. That's why. We tested it. We told them, but somehow that report, because there's thousands of reports on the issue council, it just falls through the cracks, right? So how do those things not fall through the cracks anymore? That's all that needs to get fixed, is like, how do we get? But in the end, like, the people who work there should test the mission. Should just do the mission, and all you had to do was accept the mission, and you would go, what's going on here? That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not auto completing right now. I'm gonna log in and do it right on the screen. I don't believe you, because I did it yesterday. So get out of here. But yeah, so end rant, because we've already lost all the viewers and everybody is unsubscribed and stopped watching. But it's
actually,
just like,
we've peaked so far, so maybe let's talk a little bit. Anyway,
yeah, I don't want to be like that, but it's just like, it's March, it's almost April. It's you do better. Just do better. I'm tired. I don't work there. None of us work there. You do. Do better, and that's it.
And speaking of people who don't work there, Chad Mckinney has left CIG for Blizzard. Was kind of some cool news this week.
I didn't know that he left for another one. I thought he was just like, I need a break.
No, he's off to Blizzard. He is apparently working on a unannounced MMO, I think, or an unannounced game of some kind.
Okay.
I think it was MMO though. Someone will correct me, but I always loved Chad McKinney's work, so it'll be sad to see him go. But now I'm actually really keen to see what the hell this new game is.
He's the first person that left that I was like, oh, that's not good, because he was like monumental and really important for the hangars freight elevator stuff, and it was just like, oh, maybe that's why our freight elevators and hangars are really shit still. So
I heard someone say, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but obviously they closed down the LA studio.
Yeah.
And apparently he might have been working at the LA studio, so there may have also been like, I don't want to move to Manchester type vibes or something.
He's an LA studio guy. Yeah, it could have been that too. But he was always like working. Every time he came on the show, it was work from home. It looked like he had his squat rack in the background. So, I don't know. But I wish him the best. He was super cool. He came to the Florida BlerdCitizen a couple years ago. I got to talk to him for about 30 seconds, and that was it. But super nice guy. And we had like indirect conversations after that a few times. And I wish him the best, because I really like him. He's just happy-go-lucky guy. Need more people like that in the world, not people like me.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's like mostly it. We've talked about 4.1. We've talked about the ships.
Yeah.
There was a roadmap roundup, but it was mostly just committing everything that released to the roadmap.
Ooh, I could talk a little bit about that though. This will be on Weekend Review too, and I'll be kind of ranting a tiny bit about it. The first card is about the new armors that are there. You can get the cool armor on the website for $30, or you could get it through the Wicklow thing, or you can find it at Hathor in the like the big brown boxes. And people were complaining that it didn't have a combat crosshair thing. It's clearly a combat armor, right? Heavy combat armor. Look at it. Well, I did a little bit of research. No, it's not. CitizenCon 2024, what was it? Does anybody remember? It's the tracker armor. It's the tracker armor. Okay. So what they've done in the past is just, because of doing Week in Review research, I'm always reading the dev posts. And Zach has continuously posted on Spectrum about this very consistently over the years, is there's lots of armors that appear like they're combat armors, but they have plans for these. They just haven't done them yet.
Yeah.
It's very clear that, hey, this is a tracker armor. So they were like, we won't add anything to it because we're going to add the UI that it actually is supposed to have at some point. And people are like, enough's enough. And even Zach was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we'll put some. I think it was written like, hey, maybe we'll put a crosshair on there for now in the short term because they're not getting to that work fast enough.
In the next
clearly,
month or two. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the things that have changed, like what is a new HUD on an armor? It's a feature, right? What is FPS scanning? It's a feature. What are we not getting right now? Features. So like you can look at it in one of two ways. You can look at it negatively, or you can look at it in the way that I'm going to look at it. Hey, positivity is
back.
They put the armor out there. You have tier 0 armor recovery. You can wear this cool looking armor. Done. You have the armor. It's just a matter of them putting those features in at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Done. So like them holding a ship back for its feature, like the hacking ship, the Legionnaire or whatever, that makes sense. And armor, I think it's totally fine. Throw a crosshair on this thing. It's heavy armor like the rest. Looks cool. Everyone's happy. Bing, bang, boom. You got some cool stuff to loot at a new location. I see nothing wrong with this. Yeah. I see some chatters, getting upset about it. It's like, we don't put things in without the features. And it's like, well, if they don't make features, then what's in the patch? Wake up.
As a sort of side tangent, we now have like more cool armor. 4.1 has the tier 0 death armor stuff. I will say it has been nice seeing people not just in sperm suits all the time, not just in medical gowns all the time, and finally getting to like there are so many different armor sets.
I'm
finally getting to see that again feels so good.
What armor did you choose? We're gonna ask that to everybody who joins, by the way, to like put the positive spin on tier 0 item recovery, not just the negative sides.
Day 1, I was in the green Overlord set.
Okay, so I purchased like a subscriber armor.
Yeah, like an old subscriber.
Yeah, I love that. I love that armor. The one that I went with was the Pyro Amalgamated Morozov from Checkmate, the boss armor that's there.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I went with nothing paid on the store, earned in game, can't lose it. I want it to be my org's like uniform almost, maybe, or maybe just like the miner's uniform. It's so good, dude. It's so cool. Obviously nothing against anybody who wears, something that they bought on the website. I have tons of armors as well. Like there's, I just wish they were skins that I could apply. That's all. But yeah, I'm gonna ask everybody which one they went with, but that's the one I went with. That has been my favorite. I love Morozov, and that took Morozov to the place I wanted it to be. Right, and then maybe we'll farm some like SPK Morozovs too, because those are sick. So yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna roll my in-game ones, but I don't know.
It also makes me want to go to CZ's and like farm the like the scorched singularity sets and stuff. Like those are really nice.
And then like headhunter stuff, like the cool headhunter's helmet, all that stuff.
It really shows a lot about like how much of a difference like it is. I think most people think it is cool for you to keep your armor when you die.
Yeah. And
then it's just like, that is cool and I am okay with that. And then it's like, hey, guns, can we not? It's kind of funny.
Or just like, for me, it's more like the way you go about keeping it could be done differently. Yeah. Everybody wants to load back in and just go and keep playing. Nobody wants
we want
to
play the game as fast as possible.
Exactly. Like no one's arguing against that. It's just there's other ways to do it. And we can argue them all day. You ready for callers?
Yeah, I'm ready to do it. If you want to call in to answer the call, you probably can't today. We have far too many callers. But if you want to call in next time, make sure you go to either the link that is pinned on YouTube, you go !podcast on the Twitch, or if you're watching the VOD, in the description of the YouTube video, and you go into the green room, and we'll bring you in.
Yeah. Hey, Gumbo, can you hear us? We got
Yes, can you hear me?
certified Gumbo on the line. Yeah, we hear you, man.
How you doing?
Oh, wait. Oop, muting. I'm good. How are y'all?
You heard us twice.
You're doing all right.
Yes. That was like, whew. Man, it's 4.1. This is one. I'd like to say this is like, I just realized, like, listening to y'all, that we are at the end of Q1, and I started playing in technically 3.14, but it was like the last month of 3.14 before 15 went live, and this is probably the best Q1 that I have had as far as like a new patch going. Like, yeah, it still has issues, like, and I definitely have my issues with tier 0 item. It's not the item recovery aspect, that's obviously what everybody wants, but it's just the implementation that bothers me. And I think the overall gearing system, truthfully, the way CIG's implemented gearing just bothers me.
Sure.
Like, so you speaking of armor, like, I don't like wearing full armor sets. Like,
Oh yeah, what armor
I
did you choose? We got to ask you guys. Forgot.
I typically rock the I like rocking light, medium, and heavy together. So
Okay.
Arden, I usually go with the Archangel, Arden arms and legs.
Which color is the
the
Archangel? Is that the reddish?
It's the all black one.
Oh, okay.
It's blacked out. So like, the digi camo black undersuit.
Yep.
I put that on. Then the black legs, arms, the dust up or tactical black, and then the Morzov with the red accents on the face, and that's typically what I rock.
Okay. This is a good response from Twitch chat. Can he send you a screenshot on Discord?
Oh, wait a second. Do I have a screenshot of that?
It'll be hard for me to get Yeah, if you don't have screenshots, don't worry about it. But
I can post it. Yeah, I'll post it in the Discord so people can see it.
If other people have it, then do it that way. That'll be sick. And maybe I can join through my browser somehow and be able to grab these.
And then we'll get everyone to rate everyone's fit.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm with it. I can do that. I can hop in later and take a screenshot.
Yes. So callers, the other callers waiting in line, if you have images of what you're wearing, link them up. Yeah.
We're gonna post it in media?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, there's a lot to cover with 4.1, and I don't want to eat up all my time, so I'm gonna stick with the gear system, because I think, to me, this exposes an underlying issue that I have with gearing, and the heavy armor meta is primarily due to the fact that when you wear full heavy, you are basically a walking armory by yourself.
Yeah.
And that is the problem for me.
Yeah. The movement like minuses you get to wearing all heavy are just irrelevant.
It's not enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cons are outweighed by the pros of going full. And part of me, like, because I've disliked that so much about the game, like, it's why I don't wear heavy armor, like a full set. I do it purposefully. I prefer medium if I'm going to go like a full set of anything. But like I said, I prefer the mix up the loadout. But I would like to see, ideally, them move to a character weight limit or carrying capacity, and then, like, instead of having the restrictions on light, medium, and heavy backpacks, like, you can mix and match however you want to, but your character has a total weight limit that they can carry. So if you go full heavy armor, let's say like 60 to 70% of you'll be at 70% of your weight capacity. So that doesn't leave you a lot of room for what types of weapons that you equip, plus how much you can carry, because you've put most of your weight in your armor.
Yeah.
And I think that would help balance out the meta, because now you have to make tactical decisions about what you're wearing.
I think
it could create some cool scenarios too, where you'll see somebody like in full light armor with a heavy pack, and they're just being like, they're a mule basically for looting, and you got to protect that person, because like, you're gonna rock full light, so we can put this big backpack on you, and then you're gonna carry all the loot.
I also want to see a place where like, when you're getting hit with weapons like LMGs or heavier weapons, that it kind of like knocks your aim off a little bit, and the heavy armor will keep you more stable.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like during like you're able to kind of stand in there and aim, but you can't move very quick, so you're kind of gonna get hit more.
The weight system has obviously existed in games since like forever, since like first edition Dungeons and Dragons. My question would be like, what MMOs have done weight well? I want to say New World had weight. I don't quite remember, but I remember moving very slow. So I do think that New World did that.
Yep.
Do you know of any other MMOs? Because like most MMOs just do what CIG are doing right now, which is just inventory space.
Albion does weight. Tarkov does a mix of inventory space, like they do,
but I wouldn't necessarily classify Tarkov like Tarkov. I don't think fits into this world particularly well for that sort of mechanic.
I think it does.
I don't necessarily think the MMO, they should look at other MMOs for a solution. I think like Tarkov is a good.
It's not that. I'm just wondering, has anyone done it well? Like, has an MMO done it well? Because there will be problems that'll come up, right?
Albion's
because
pretty good.
I do like the idea for reference. I'm just trying to figure out why no.
Albion does a combination.
I agree.
Of you have like certain number of slots, and then each item stacks up to 99 or whatever, and then they all have a weight, and you have a carrying capacity, and if you go, it also depends on like, you could put a special on your boots to have more carrying capacity. You can have a pack mule or whatever that gives you more carrying capacity. So but then you lose the speed. So there's trade-offs for everything. I think Albion does it really well. I think Tarkov does it really well, but Tarkov's not an MMO.
Arma does it really well too. I'm pretty much getting this from Arma. Like, this is what Arma does, because like if you're gonna rock an LMG, like you're not gonna have a lot of you're not gonna be able to equip a whole bunch of ammo with that. Like, somebody else is gonna have to carry the ammo, or you're gonna have to put it in a truck. But you tactically, because of also the weight of the weapons matters more in those games. Like, when you're going with special weapons, like special weapons are really heavy in real life, so like they kind of base it off of that. So you're not going to have a sniper and a LMG. Like, that's just nobody's going to do that. Someone else is going to carry that stuff.
Since you didn't send yours yet, Gumbo, this is Roman's armor she just goes, "I'm not a caller, but here's my fit." Where did you get that helmet, Roman? I need to know.
Isn't that in Pyro?
Yeah, but I've never seen it with the eye thing on it.
Yeah, that's like the one that has the Pyro logo has the eye thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's not red.
I've seen it in a shop, but they don't sell it.
This is Hathor loot rooms, so that's new Pyro armor. Okay,
wow.
Let's go.
But yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. The other thing as well, like all of those systems that we mentioned, like when you are encumbered, it's actually punishing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like you are real slow. Like right now, I think it's a difference of what, like 30% speed between like light armor and heavy armor. And it's just not relevant. But if you were at like walking pace, like I'd be scared, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like this discussion about that. I would love to see them improve on this. It'd be fun.
Could come with the armor system, maybe, but
we know that they're like, you can't have heavy armor up top if you don't have heavy armor on the legs, because you want the legs to support it. And we know that that's something they want to do, but other than that,
genuinely didn't like that. I understand where they're coming from with that, but that bothered me, because I'm like, no, we're overcomplicating this. Just add weight restrictions, and you can still have a carrying capacity, but you have to also factor in the total weight that your character is carrying. So you might not even hit your carrying capacity because of how much weight in total you've thumbed, based on everything that you have equipped, everything that you're carrying, and then the weapons that you've chosen to go with. Like, so it makes it a lot more tactical. And if we're going to have a system where you can keep your loot, I'm okay with it, as long as people are making more tactical decisions about how they go into combat, or non-combat
Mm.
situations. Also, I thought about something as well, like with earnable rewards in game. Like as we get more progression systems unlocked and you get to higher tiers with certain mission givers and they start giving you stuff, it does kind of suck if somebody can just kill you randomly in the world and then they take you did all the work to get the stuff and then somebody can just wait for you to have a moment and slip up and just take it. Like I do think that there should be some way to balance that. Like I think crafting obviously is the thing, clearly, but some sort of limitation on. I'm not saying people shouldn't be able to loot other players in the future, but I think there should be some sort of like restriction in terms of like maybe they can't repair it. Like maybe they don't. You might loot a thing, but you don't have like the reputation to go talk to the appropriate vendor to get that stuff replaced. So you can loot it one time and then you basically have until it degrades and then you're gonna either have to earn it yourself or find somebody else who's wearing it to get it. But I don't know. It was just something that I had thought about like randomly. Like, yeah, when we do have earnables in game, it would be kind of how would they balance that aspect with a full loot system so it doesn't feel like people are kind of going around the grind.
Don't know. I'm staying out of that one. I shared my experiences with it, but I am not giving them any more solutions. Or I'm not getting into these arguments with people. Not that you're arguing. But yeah,
just pointing out some. But yeah, that's all the points I'm going to stick to for today. I don't want to take up everybody's time.
Thanks,
appreciate
Gumbo.
you all.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, as always.
Put your armor in media, and we'll bring it up later.
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna go in game and take a screenshot now.
All right, man. Catch it.
All right, cheers, mate.
Later.
Bye now. All right, Croncy, you're gonna say this name because I don't know how to say it. Who is this?
I want to say tachales.
Tachales?
Yeah, actually, pretty well.
Tachales?
Yeah, tachales.
Tachales.
Hey,
okay.
Let's go.
How's it going?
Well, hello.
Guys?
Good.
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Thank you. Having a good time so far.
Good.
Awesome.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Before your topics.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? Wait, that's okay. Wait, that's not what I meant. What's your fit? What's your 4.1 fit?
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the armor, but I usually go from the one that you get from Lorville, the black reddish one.
Describe it more.
Is it the one with the hood?
No, not the hood, just a regular medium armor. I can't.
Oh, it might be the
The one you got from the mission they gave you, where you had to do the tutorial stuff and go to the expo and.
Oh, it might just be this. It might just be the Orc X, maybe.
Probably.
Could be.
Yeah, the singularity.
Oh, singularity.
Yeah, singularity. Exactly. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, very cool. That is one of my when I want to have an outfit that just matches.
I need to
Orc
look this
X
up.
singularity looks banger.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
like
nice.
Yes, it's like my daily go-to armor.
Yep. You can also buy it like everywhere. It's helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, this armor's sick. And it's old. Like, we've had it forever.
It's an old one.
But
But
a goodie.
It is. And it did get a texture update like last year, I think. Like early last year.
Here, I'll bring it up on screen from the wiki. There you go.
It just looks nice. It's easy available, and it doesn't really matter if you die with it, so you don't really care that much about it.
Yeah.
But the black and the like metallic red has always looked really good.
Nice.
Really good.
Yep. Cool. All right. So yeah, what do you want to talk about?
So I just want to pick your brains on this one. I've been an EVE player for a couple of years before I discovered StarCitizen and just play StarCitizen on the side. My question is, like, how do you guys feel about, or how do you guys look into the situation where in EVE, like, ships came in naturally? So you would start the game, you had your set of base ships, and then when the expansion come, new ships would be introduced to the game. So players pretty much had the time to achieve their ships naturally before the next ad or DLC hits. Whereas in Star Citizen, you literally can buy pretty much almost every ship from the get-go, including like big game changes such as capital ships. Like the Polaris, like all the other concept ships, the Kraken and whatnot. Like, how do you feel about the fact that you can have those capital ships, those big ones from the very beginning of the game, instead of like the ships coming into the game to the player base in a like natural process by players
I'll
buying
let
them
you take it,
by
Croncy.
playing the game?
Everyone knows my
So
opinion.
firstly, very quickly, quite a few years ago now, they added the ability for people in EVE to buy both skill points and like money ages ago with Plex, which essentially made it that you can buy ships right off the bat in EVE.
Believe it or not, there are even a couple of like little packages that do have ships. They have sold them in the past and are doing it in the future potentially. They've hinted at doing it in the future.
Yeah,
there's a difference
in
in EVE though.
There is a difference in EVE
because you lose the ships if they explode.
Exactly. So it's like if you do invest in that monetary value, you might lose it. And then they like the skill points section, the part of the skill points does still exist that can sort of slow you down anyway. Because I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's a maximum amount of skill points you can inject every day.
I don't know.
So you can't like super turbo it, like you can't capital ship day one, but you can still do it pretty quickly if you have the money.
Okay.
So that is just the extra addendum to what you're saying, but what you're saying is still correct, right? Like in Star Citizen, we've been like not showed. They've told us, hey, if you want to play the game, you're buying a ship, right? That's how the game works. And that doesn't exist in EVE. So
I hate it. I hate that that's the thing.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's bad. The big thing that was like the remedy for me was the crafting system when they announced that. And like that turns it into a completely different system. But it also means I now put a lot of weight on them getting the crafting system correct.
And that's why I got so upset about insurance.
Yeah.
Is because this was supposed to be the counter to the pledge store being so impactful.
Yeah.
And then when they come in with the insurance and are like, well, by the way, if you pledge, don't bother. You won't lose anything. Like, no worries.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so upset, is because it doesn't. It now incentivizes the pledge store even more than it did before. And I hate it. You want to pick my brain. There's two ways to look at it too. Is an MMO. I've come to EVE later. I've come to EVE 20 years into the game's launch, but I still am forced and I'm still gated to start slow. I just unlocked Exhumers for mining. I just unlocked Exhumers, partly because of my own, like, hey, I don't know where to put my skill points and stuff like that. Star Citizen doesn't gate you from doing anything. And that is definitely a mistake, in my opinion. Is like, for MMOs, these games are meant to be played for a long time. That means that, your MMOs give what you put into them, but in Star Citizen, it only gives what you put in financially into it in a lot of ways. Not only, obviously, there's skills to, like, hey, we were just in a big Polaris battle before the podcast. My pilot was not good. No offense. He's in my org. But in comparison to the other guys that we were playing with, that this is their bread and butter and that's what they were focusing on and that's what they were working on, he was not as good as them. So you can have the ship. In EVE, if you have the skill, you have the ship and you press the buttons and it kind of works for the most part, right? There are skills in EVE and PvP. Obviously, I am aware of that.
Yeah.
But much less so than in Star Citizen. So there's always that level, but I wish there was a bit of gating that was done. So you had to play the game and unlock and experience things. Yeah. I hate it.
It's about longevity in your progress. You want someone to be able to log in. You want them to have a short-term goal of what they want to do in this session, a medium-term goal about what they want to do in the next few weeks, and a long-term goal about what is the end. You know, the Eve player, a lot of the times, it's like, I want to have a capital ship, or I want to have billions and billions, like I want to own just all the space stations in like one system type thing. And that doesn't exist in Star Citizen. Kinda. The new activity is a longevity progress thing, right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of cool. But you can also just buy the Polaris with money. So yeah, like they've started to put systems in place, but that old system of the pledge store existing means it's nowhere near as valuable. It's nowhere near as cool.
You ready for this? The event of Hathor, and the reason everyone is going there is to get Karenite to turn into Wicklow. Some people are fighting to get the Polaris or whatever, right? Maybe a lot of people are like, working to save it. I don't know. But all I do know is that I have never been to Hathor without seeing minimum 3 Polarises in the opposing group. In the opposing people that are there. The event that the reward that you are trying to achieve, you need to complete it, is insane. And that is Star Citizen in a nutshell, right? Is you don't need it to complete it, but it has.
But that's how it's going to work, because all the people are going to do that.
It's a meta, right? It's a meta. It has a med bed. It has a ton of health. It has torpedoes. It has PDC. It has all the things you can need to help defend yourself at that. Now, are there ways to kill it? Absolutely. Whatever. But
notably,
it's the meta ship to bring.
It is. And notably, if you couldn't buy the Polaris, eventually that would be the problem as well. Like months later, after people have earned Polarises, people would lock it down with the Polarises that they've earned.
Yes.
But the fact that it is day one, that's rough.
It's just
I just feel like
that's the example that is like working against exactly what he's saying, right?
I literally don't have any issues with like small or medium ships that you can buy in the pledge store. I mean, they got to make money somehow. I totally understand their concept, but where I really start to question the whole thing is where with like the big capital ships, where I feel like give players time to get accommodated to the game, to learn the ropes, how everything works in order to get some skill, and then slowly but surely get into the craft of like the big ships. Because then actually you know what you're doing. You have a better situational understanding of the battlefield and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to hear any arguments from us, I don't think. Like, we've played MMOs before. We would like to play another one. This, I have no idea what it is, but it has tons of potential to be a good one if they just listened and heard what people are saying, I don't know.
My biggest thing with it is I don't necessarily care right now, but I care about it for the future when I will care about progression. Like, I don't care about progression as much right now. Half the stuff you buy still doesn't carry over in every patch, which was also one of the main complaints I saw about people in 4.1. And so that just doesn't matter to me. But like in a 1.0, if people are still pledging ships and there's no in-game progression that can't be purchased, what am I doing, right?
Yeah, just weird.
Yeah,
just a weird situation, and I don't think it's ever going away. But if they don't get some checks and balances in, I don't think they're ever going. I think the experience will always be how I describe it, and it's like the pledge store is the main thing, and then you're jumping in this like really cool looking test track for the ship that you bought the ship in, and you could show everybody what that ship can do. Like the world that's been built of Star Citizen is to show what your real money purchases can do. And I feel like that is what it's always been, instead of the world of Star Citizen being this incredibly well done video game. And it just isn't. It just isn't. And I don't know if it ever will be. I don't know if that's what their goals are right now. But I really hope it is, because it has the unbelievable potential to absolutely be a fantastic video game. They just got to figure a way out of the never-ending cycle of we need to sell spaceships to make the game. Oh, we've run out of money. Draw another spaceship. Oh, we've run out. And then just the constant loop of need the money to make the game, or the insane amount of money to make the game. I don't know. And I don't know if that'll happen. We'll see. But that's like, we've been totally off the topic of 4.1. So we'll probably leave it here. And I appreciate your call. But yeah,
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. I hope our answers were sufficient, but yeah.
I just like to get another opinion from people who are invested in the game and how they see this kind of quote unquote issue.
Oh, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're invested in the game, not in the how much we've spent on it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So all right, man.
All right.
Thanks for your call.
Have
Appreciate
a lovely Sunday.
You too. You
too.
Catch
you, mate.
Catch you soon.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Now. All right, our next caller is RingoShonen. So first step, Ringo, what armor do you like to wear in the game? If you can hear us, we haven't heard you yet. There you are.
No, it's good. The Crusader Guard armor.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's a good one.
That is a good
I
choice.
really want to get that elite version, but
so you're going the basic to start, but you like the elite.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just rocking full ADP white with a Baylor white helmet because that's just the heavy armor you can buy from Seraphim Station, and I got tired of customizing stuff and then losing it.
Yeah, this is the one you want.
Guess what?
This is the one he wants.
Yeah, that's a 6.
This one's so.
That's the one that you get from SPK, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, remind me, if I get to rank 5 reputation from doing bunker missions, I'm allowed to go there without being shot still, right? That's still a thing?
Allegedly. I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to...
I'll definitely tell you it'll be faster to just go there, get the crime stat, get the loot, and then go to prison.
Oh yeah, criminals get
now in 4.1,
they've had it for years.
Yeah, now in 4.1, I imagine you can just go there, just loot it, and then die.
If you go to prison,
you'll get it once you get out of prison, right?
You might lose it if you go out of prison. That's been a bug the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they finally fix that?
I don't think so.
Like I used to go there, just loot all the boxes, and they get like shoot one of the cops, get a crime stat, and then go to prison. Then whenever you come out of prison, you'd have all your gear you had when you got arrested.
It's kind of the opposite right now, from my understanding. So I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. And now, go ahead, Ringo. But we're gonna leave Gumbo's.
Oh.
This is Gumbo's armor.
Yeah, it probably looks better.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
That's pretty slick.
That's cool.
Not gonna lie.
That's very recon armor. You know?
Yeah, that's slick.
I mean, as a residential obsessed medical player, there really isn't any medical armor unless I just want to cosplay as a med runner, but then that's just going to be target on my back because of all the old drama.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe one of these.
So
you should be wearing just as green as possible so that it suits the med gun.
Yeah, that could do a thing.
But yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, I guess while we're talking about the bunkers, everyone's talking about there's too many faucets, not enough sinks. Have you seen the payouts for bunker missions?
No, are
They're
they bad?
trash. Okay, they did up them because like the tier 1 provide backup where you're going to an ally controlled base, kill the 10 guys was worth like 10K, and you had to take your pet 1 SCU box with you and put all their armor in it. It's fun walking past the guards like, oh, your guard died. I'm so sorry for him. I'm going to strip him naked because I need to make money.
But in Pyro, the same missions pay like 200K.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
unfortunately, I've tried going there.
About.
And it turns out my medical terrapin doesn't last more than 20 seconds under sustained fire from a Super Hornet.
Yeah. Welcome to...
being armored.
For sure. I will say, though, also at the moment, like the fact that this new PvP area is in Stanton has meant that Pyro has a much lower population than it has had recently.
Yeah, it might be.
So if you yourself or anyone else out there hasn't gone to Pyro yet, because I know that there are still quite a few people, now might be the time.
Yep.
I do want to point out that like I finally got to tier 2, and they did up it, so it's 45K for completing the basic tier 1. So then you get to tier 2, and it's like, oh, you have to go to a Ninetales base and kill them, where they control the turrets, which got buffed. That only pays 31K, so it's worse. And you have to like park 5
Interesting.
kilometers out and go to it, and there's no guards to help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, but
I want to see what tier 3 looks like.
The solution isn't to up your pay. The solution is to lower everyone else's.
So now that they got this golem out, and from what I hear, you just make millions from breaking a rock or visiting a certain place in Pyro. But ignoring that exploit, maybe I'll get into the whole mining game.
I don't even know that one. So nice.
Oh, the one you were talking about where you just start a quest and you instantly win it.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's not in Pyro
But
though.
I was gonna. Oh, shoot! I need to learn my locations. I just hang out in Crusader.
Yeah.
That's fair. You actually bring up a good point. We do often see, not often, about half the time, we see like when a new ship comes out, especially in the industrial side, it's like super profitable right at the start. And they didn't really change anything about rocks this patch, but it is a very cheap ship that can pretty much make the same amount of money as a prospector, just with a little bit more difficulty. Are we gonna get punished, Mike? Are we gonna get nerfed?
What, the prospector, you mean?
Well, like, yeah, like, because that is a cheaper ship that can make it essentially would be punching above its weight in terms of like money making.
I think now with these like bag exploits, I don't think they're even exploits. I think that's just what you're going to be able to carry, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think that they're trying to do with the mining ships is to make it like the carry capacity is the deciding factor of how useful it is. Like, it's not like they put like a size 0 laser on the golem, right? And a size 1 on the prospector and a size 2 on the mole. So I don't know.
The reclaimer into the ground. Just saying.
That reclaimer's fine.
Well, I mean, remember back when you could just go to the unauthorized missions and just break down hammerheads for millions?
Yeah, that's not nerfing
that was,
the reclaimer. That's clearing up an exploit.
Yeah, so like the issue that I'm saying is like, the prospector and the mole are fine, but there is now like a ship that is new that is punching above its weight class, and then I'm like wondering, will we get nerfed because of that? The answer is probably no, but
well, I'm not an economic genius here, but like moving box from point A to point B, or moving a lot of boxes, pays a lot of money. Me risking my life to go 1v15 against these enemies in a bunker, and I get like, oh, here's 15K, have fun. Thanks for risking your life.
I mean, it's just sure, but like in a lot of instances, those missions, once you do get to the higher tiers and you're spamming them, can give you a lot more money a lot faster than some of those moving box missions.
Also,
as well as like in terms of gameplay of Star Citizen, you're never risking your life really. Risking cargo can actually be a real thing, right? Like if you're going to do trading, risking cargo is a legitimate concern.
And those take more time.
And now I don't risk armor anymore. Yeah. I don't risk my weapons anymore.
Exactly. So
yeah, true. Exactly.
If I was going to argue on Ringo's side a little bit, I do think that they apply the time equation too much to how much they pay things out. And that's why the cargo missions pay so much, is because time is maybe weighted too high. And that's why something like going down to a bunker, killing 15 NPCs that barely even notice you were there, you're not risking your life. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, is why they I think why they pay so little, but the other ones are paying too much. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like you're exactly where
I think the good ones will happen at tier 3, where you get the multi-waves. Those used to pay good.
Yeah.
Also, the new 5 enemies, I hate. There used to always be 10 enemies per wave. Now there's always 15, where 5 guys spawn outside. So if you're doing one of the first 2 tiers, where everyone's pre-spawned, guess what I'm going to do? 45 degrees, nose down, size 2 weapons in their face for about 10 seconds. Oh, the first 5 guys are gone anyways.
Yeah.
What was the point of this? Oh, right. When you get to the multi-wave one, they always spawn 5 guys back outside. So, you just finished off everything. You wait the 1 minute per wave 2, you kill your 10 guys. You're like, where's the other 5? And then, yellow markers are up there. And then you have to take the elevator up, kill them. And the next wave will have 10 down below, 5 up. And it's a little bit more time consuming.
Yeah. I think that's
They
another
will run
problem of
away
them
from
not-
the base for miles.
Yeah, I think that's another problem with them not necessarily understanding how players play these missions, right? Like if you play the wave mission, yeah, you just want to sit down in the bunker staring at the elevators until they pop out. It is cool that there are dudes outside, but then if I have to spend the entire time to go up the elevator and then sort them out, it's boring downtime, right?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. It's just when they run away is annoying. So I like get up there after dealing with everyone, and then like some dudes walked 1.5 kilometers away from the base.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that. That's what it does.
Some of them will just go into
I
like
remember that happening
quotes?
in. I was gonna say I knew that happening in
the
Pyro.
dogs.
Yeah, the dogs would run away because
Yeah.
they'd be scared by the gunshots and whatever. So I imagine it's a similar thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we spawn light armor guys outside, so they get a little bit more cowardly than the heavy armors downstairs.
Yeah.
That's my headcanon, anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, but all right, Ringo. Unless you want to talk about the like the current stuff in 4.1, we'll probably let you go. And
Yeah, sorry, I'm waiting for him to clear that up. So I'll leave it to someone who's
Okay.
actually got a chance to play the newest stuff.
totally understandable, and that is enough of a comment about where 4.1 is. So I appreciate it.
That's fine,
Honestly.
guys.
You too, Ringo. Be good.
Yeah. Cheers. Have a go.
No knock on anyone that's called so far, but nearly nobody has talked about 4.1. I wonder if we did this 1 week too early, or if the instability was really, just, hey, most people are just like done with it, and it's like, I'll wait until it's better. It sounds exactly like what
Maybe.
Ringo was thinking there.
No.
All right, our next caller, and I think we got time for maybe one more, right? Or do you want to bring in? It's up to you, Croncy. I'm kind of leaving this one on you.
Yeah, like we've probably got time for two more. It's like what, 1:30 now, so
2 more, perfect. I know
this
the
one
order.
and 2 more should work.
I know the order in which people came in. So,
Yep.
there you go. This and 2 more is covered. There you go.
Yep.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about, Hudson?
Hudson,
and I know
okay,
Hudson has.
And what is your fit?
Hudson has his fit. I will bring it up. Give me a moment. I'm working on it.
Good morning and good evening, Croncy.
Howdy. No, it is good morning for me as well.
Oh,
It's 2:30
right.
a.m.
Yeah. So what's it like in the future?
It's great. Don't go outside tomorrow.
So Hudson
Okay.
gave us 3 fits.
Oh,
Three.
we got our choices, do we?
Flying fit. What's the second one? Since I can't see the text. Hudson?
Memeing.
Also, if you're showing them, I can't see them right now.
Oh,
The first one flying is the sitcon flight suit from last year.
there you go.
There we go. All right, cool.
So that's the Croncy. That's flying.
Yep.
Sitcon flight suit. Memeing,
Yep.
which is a Halloween mask
Yeah,
from many years ago. And then what's this?
Combat.
Like
just
PvE
general-
combat.
Yeah, PvE combat.
Looking good.
Bunker running stuff.
I noticed nobody just like full metas, heavy armor, light legs. They're all just, it's all style. All style from
Yep.
everybody. I like it.
Oh,
Wait.
that's mostly just Orc Mark V black with Morozov SH helmet.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I'll also bring this one up because they were in the queue and then backed out. This was Tassadar. So
Yep.
this was last year's what?
Was it the Invictus one or was it
IE
the
or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very, very glowy. So
Yep.
Very.
I responded with this. I'll see you wherever you are.
That's the trick. I'm the distraction. So,
what-
4.1, Hudson.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about, Hudson?
The tier 0 stuff. I coming from a guy that likes to go back and get his stuff, I kind of appreciate not having to go back and get my stuff.
Yeah. It's
But-
great.
But that also takes away the gameplay from other players that like to loot players that they kill or just happen to find out in the wild. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something that CIG is actually considering. And apparently I was told that this is basically Tarkov insurance. But basically we should have like an NPC that we can pay some sort of fee to reclaim our stuff.
Yeah.
And depending on and depending on the distance from wherever we died to our home location or whatever is however long it takes for our stuff to be returned to us. But there is like a time period in which your body can be looted, which would be like half, just say arbitrarily, just however, like half the time it would take for the armor to be returned to you. That time your body can be looted. So obviously, if you're in a PvP situation, you pay say 100,000 to get your stuff back. You're paying 100,000 to maybe not even get anything back. Whereas, say if you succumb to one of the many glitches in this game, say falling through an elevator shaft or whatever in a bunker, you pay the 100,000 just to get your stuff back, because quite literally you can't get your stuff back.
That's fine. Go ahead, Croncy.
The problem there is you explicitly said, but if you die to a bug, that should not be a problem and should not be part of the solution either, right?
Right. Well,
I don't hate your idea, but that should just be irrelevant.
I also think
right?
we've
really
already
we
done
just should
this,
not be losing stuff to bugs.
We've already done this podcast. This isn't how we're having less of a discussion of how we experience Tier 0 in 4.1, giving them actual feedback that they can utilize instead of more examples of things that have been talked about forever. Yes, Tarkov insurance is much better. Like, your idea is totally fine. I somewhat agree with it. Not entirely, but I do. But I don't think it's a topic for today, I guess. I don't know. Right? Like, when you got in game, you started out fine, I think, which was like, hey, I do like the fact that I don't have to, go back and loot my body for my gear or whatever. I have everything. Yeah. But have you come across any negatives in game yet? We're talking about how, they should do it differently, but have you come across any negatives, or have you only come across positives? Like, I came across a couple negatives, but what I'm curious about out of the discussion from today is, while you were playing, were you negatively affected by this at all? Or were you only positively affected by it, right? Because if I'm the only one yelling from the rooftop saying this is shit and everybody else is saying it's good, then guess what? It's not shit.
Yeah.
It's just shit for me. And then this isn't the game for me, and that's all there is. That's what I'm curious about. And obviously, like, Tier 0 is not the end solution of this thing. But I think in regards to this conversation and regards to today's show is, what's your experience now that it's in, instead of all the theoretical things that could have been or they could do? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of hard to kind of comment on a Tier 0 since that's not really the final product. So it's just
have you experienced it? It is easy.
It's also
in the game.
It is relevant because we are playing 4.1 right now. Like, how is it? How are you experiencing it right this second?
Yes.
I mean, right now it's kind of a positive. I did notice though that if you die, say in an armistice zone, and you don't have your spawn set at whatever, like I moved to like one of the Lagrange stations, and I ended up dying for some reason. I ended up spawning inside the Lagrange station instead of back at my primary residence, despite not having set my respawn there.
That used to be the case, I think, like years ago.
Yeah, that was something I experienced yesterday. And aside from losing components for the third time for a patch,
that is a 4.1 experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
wasn't there literally a post on Spectrum last week
saying
before
that
the patch came out
that everything would be
everyone's going to be fine, you're going to get all your stuff, and then that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I had to spend hours going around to the many systems to collect all the many unique components that I'm wanting, because they can't have like a centralized location. Well, not a, I don't want to say centralized because that means just have everything, but main places to buy a majority of these components.
Mhm.
Like, I have to, like, quite literally, if you want an Atlas, you have to an Atlas quantum drive, you have to specifically go to her L5. But if you want the ice drive, a size 2 cooler, you have to go to freaking Port Tressler, for crying out loud. That's the only place you can get it at.
I'm just leaving an
But,
example of more kind of tier 0 weird things that are going on. I have a crime stat, and I'm at Pyro Gate. This was today. I have Karenite on my body, and I'm trying to sneak through the gate with the crime stat without getting hit with the missiles, but it doesn't work, okay? And I end up getting killed, and I'm not sent to prison whenever I die. Oh, no, this is the second one. This is the one where I die. I'm not sent to prison. I'm sent back to Pyro, and I open my inventory, and everything's there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, like, again, they're like, this implementation is, like, kind of feels thrown in, and it's, like, not working with all the other systems that are there. There's all this, like, weird, goofy stuff that's happening. Because I was, like, I died in an armistice zone, so I kept my stuff. It's like some weird thing that's going on. So, yeah. Just to continue on with, like, the, hey, I didn't set my spawn and this weird thing happened. I had another weird thing happen. So that was that. So I derailed you. I'm sorry. But continue. I just wanted to...
No, you're fine. I mean, that was basically all I wanted to talk to. I didn't want to take up the other callers' times.
Yeah, and sorry for jumping on you about, like, your tier. It's just like, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of talking about it. And
Until there's like more news on it, it's like everything's already been said.
If we're gonna talk about it, I really want to hear what real people who are playing the game, not just me and the people that I'm playing the game with, what their experiences are. I shared mine, both positive and negative, and if it's overall a win, then it's overall a win, and then it's just up to me. I'll make my choice whether I'm gonna play this game or not, right? But CIG will have the data they need to make the decisions that they want to make. Does that make sense? I think it's horrible. I think it's going to be horrible, but that is what it is. If it's not, then it's not. So, I mean, if anything, I finally got to piggyback off of you, Hudson, to say it how I wanted to say it about the tier 0 thing. So, there you go.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man. I'll see you in game.
Yep. See you, man.
All right, bro.
Hudson's
in our org, and he's a very helpful member. All right. So, Blerd is our next BlerdCitizen. Can you hear us, dude?
Hey, doing, Blerd? Blerd, you are muted currently. BlerdCitizen.
Going twice. We got callers waiting in the line. See you later. All right. Next one is PinkyMaze, and I know Pinky left us an armor to look at. Pinky, can you hear us?
On PinkyMaze.
Hello.
Howdy. So you showed us your fit. You did.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up in just a second.
Oh, I like that. I think it's the red Overlord, but then with the.
It's an oldie, but a good. It's an oldie, but a goodie. Well, where's the
Cadillo helmet?
Yeah. Here it comes.
I do love the Cadillo helmet.
Ah, I lost it. There it is.
There it is, yeah.
I call it the Mohawk helmet, the Spartan helmet.
Yeah.
Yep. One of the better ones.
Nothing like a little red and black. Mix the red weapon in, but not quite the right color. Little needs some work there.
I had to this was what was left over after doing Hathor last night. I had red AO3 and a red Custodian on my back.
Nice.
But yeah, long time listener, first time caller.
Okay.
Yeah, cheers for calling in.
What are your 4.1 experiences?
So, I'm enjoying the tier 0. It's letting everybody wear their fancies out, more colorful verse, more colorful corpses all over Grimhex.
Much less med gowns on the floor at every hospital.
That too.
I got one comment on the item recovery, and then I got stories from Hathor last night.
Let's do it.
Sure.
So, my take on item recovery is one thing I haven't really heard anybody talk about is how much time it will take to recover your item, like default, if you don't pay to expedite it, if that comes in. I thought like maybe like a week, if you can reclaim your items every week. There's 52 weeks in a year. If duping's a concern or possible, that's like 52 of the same armor core over the span of a year. Trade them, sell them, lose them out in the verse. I think that's not terrible. Not ideal, but not terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like
Staying out of it.
I wish
Say
the
what you
weapons were lootable. I wish the multi-tools and bits and bobs off the player body were lootable. I get if armor is not lootable. It is pretty easy to come by. Cooler armor's not so much, but like, hey, heavy armor is heavy armor.
Yeah.
So that's my mild take. Recovery once a week. Payday comes along. You get your stuff. You get together with your org. You're all looking cool when you inevitably die to some bug.
Yep.
Which is again why I'm cool with tier 0 being how it is right now.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Yeah. I am still Mike's too good. He doesn't die to bugs, but I am still dying to far too many bugs.
I die
rather than players. Yeah.
I definitely do. I die usually into ramming into things more than to guns. Flying my ship into stuff I shouldn't fly it into.
So that's my
What are your
tier
Hathor
0.
stories?
Yeah, last night my org got together for Hathor. Check it out.
How many people?
Well, we had 15 to 20-ish people.
That's a good
We had
group.
a designated ground crew.
Yep.
Cool.
We had a designated Polaris crew, and then we had a designated like fighter squadron.
Nice.
Very cool.
And between that, we were able to take on the random other fighter ships and Polaris that ran away, came back multiple times.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to tell if we got there after the laser was fired, but we got the batteries, we got up to the station, the batteries wouldn't click in, which means it was either recently fired or bugged. We got down to the bunker, and there's 4 lights on the panel there that are supposed to tell you what stage it's at.
Yep.
It was on cooldown, and we don't know how long it's been like that. My org was there for a couple hours.
Yep.
So there is about a 2-hour cooldown after the cave closes, I think. Or after the laser is fired, one of the two. It's on cooldown for 2 hours after that. It sounds like it wasn't bugged, but it was on cooldown.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, it's like, oh, we don't have one that's ready to go.
Yeah, we ended up, ground crew ended up checking out other locations to see if they were ready to go. I left as the West Coast players took over for the East Coast players late at night, and it sounded like we were just pocketing the batteries to try again at another time. They do store in the cargo storage, but when you lower them, the lift doesn't list anything in the lift. So it looks like you're lowering nothing.
Okay. So you can't store them for later like you can the keys.
You can. It's just visually when you put them on the lift and then go to the console to lower it, they don't show up as on the lift.
So it looks like you're not storing anything, but then when you go to bring it out, it's fine.
You're able to bring it out because there's something in your inventory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Cool.
So it works.
Yeah, my other plan was to just keep them on a ship and then store that ship. I've hoarded space cows in that same fashion.
Yeah.
If only they went into the batteries.
You know what no one talked about? Did you ever get spooked by the worms popping up, catching you by surprise?
No. I had no worm action.
No worm experiences.
We the one that we did on Friday, Those worms are deadly, man. Like they're absolutely they will just constantly spit at you from like a really far distance.
Yeah,
And they will
shoot
chip at your
chips.
health.
They shoot at chips
Yeah,
too.
but that's hell yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. But and there's also just so many when they do work, obviously. There's a lot of them that pop out when you're actually doing the mission. So
Yep.
I like it. I like it as a little you know, extra challenge as you're playing. And it's not like so hard that it's impossible. But it definitely raises the blood pressure.
As long as the server FPS is supporting a decent fight.
Yeah.
The NPCs have not been up to par.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hathor was even though we didn't get it to go, I only like flew around it in PTU to look at it. It was still cool to run through the steps, get everybody like familiar with the process. So when we get back to it, we can try.
What
it
are
again.
your goals? Are your goals to get a Polaris, or are your goals just to go down and have a good time, spread out some of the gems, or what?
Personally, I'm here for the good time.
Yeah.
I know our org, we were talking about either hoarding them, and then one lucky player will be the Polaris winner. But we're actually talking with other orgs that are willing to buy the gems in game or trade, and for substantial money, put that money in the org bank, buy Polaris missiles with that.
There you go.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, because again, there's these orgs that are racing to world first. That we have competition. So like the last cave we went to was like the only reason we went to it was because they were doing it. So it was like we have to take it from them so they can't have it, kind of thing. And they might be talking to people like this trying to buy them since they can't get them as easily, you know, or whatever. So
an option.
Yeah, of course.
Way to do it.
Sandbox.
Not only Wickelow's he's not the only trader in the verse.
Correct. Yep. We can be as well. That's why I'm again buying Quantanium 75k per SCU right here. This guy.
The only other comment when we got on, we were basing at Seraphim. There was literally 4 other Polaris all around Seraphim.
Yep.
Getting their people aboard. So I was surprised we only ran into one. I remember the Polaris's name was Oh Smell It. So like whenever it showed back, like oh smell it, it's here. Comedic.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of a good time, but ruined a bit by either a cooldown or a bug, which classic Star Citizen. So
yeah, that was it. I flew my little Fury around, was like kind of doing comms between the groups, and when my Fury got assaulted, the shields were down, shields were down, weapons were down, but engines were still up, so I was able to land and join ground team.
Yep.
And that was fun. That was cool.
Hell yeah.
Died, respawned on the Polaris.
I'm doing deals in chat right now.
Gave you an idea.
Money. Yeah. No, sounds good. Thank you for sharing your experience. We'll probably leave it there. It's been about 10 minutes. And you're fit. You're a fantastic fit.
Yeah.
So thanks for calling in. We hope to hear from you again.
All right, Pinky.
Yeah, peace.
Be good. Bye now.
Cheers.
All right, our last caller, because Blerd. Well, oh no, hold on, Lux. Let me pull you back out and bring Blerd in. So we might not get to Lux. Blerd seems to be unmuted now. Finally, Blerd, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Right, we're gonna go with Blerd then, Lux. Sorry. Hopefully you understand.
Sorry about that. Last time, my phone.
No, you're not the only person it happens to. It happens all the time. It's just a stupid Discord thing.
So as far as armor goes, I'm basic. I just use Lorville security armor. I just think it's cool.
Which one? The hood, the black hood?
The black hood, yep.
That is not basic. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's basic because a lot of people use it, but it is that's because it's one of the coolest armor sets in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels cool.
We'll show Lux, who was gonna come in. We'll show their fit. There it is. While you're talking. That's the Dusters like high end legendary armor that we saw at CitizenCon 2023. There you go.
Oh, that is cool. So I didn't play 4.1 in the PTU, but I have been watching Salty's stream, so I saw some of the stuff, so I was kind of aware of it. And so I just kind of wanted to get, and I kind of agreed with the whole tier things. I was kind of with Salty on it for the most part. Getting the N4.1, it's made me rethink it a little bit.
Yeah.
But not long term, just short term.
Yes.
I
Yeah, of
think
course.
that
Yeah.
the game is in such a state right now that I think the negatives, like the experience Salty had with the railgun at Hawthorne, doesn't outweigh all the times you die of bugs. Just I was in Quantum Drive and I like to role play. So when I play, so like I put my guns in the gun rack. I have like when I'm doing a long quantum travel, I wear like a different outfit in the spaceship, so I'm not always wearing my helmet or my suit when I'm flying. And I'm just in quantum drive, and I just fall through the seat into space and die.
Yeah.
And right, and so then like everything's gone, right? And so if I have at least if I had the stuff on me, I get it back. So like those types of bugs in tier 0 seem to make sense to me because it's basically just protecting us from themselves. But the whole point of this year, because they're not giving us the features that we want, is to fix the bugs, to make a quality of life thing. So it was weird to me that they came out and announced tier 1 and tier 2 with tier 0, given that the whole idea of this is that in a year from now, we're not having these game breaking bugs. Like we're not having this. And so why would I don't understand the logic at that point. But for now, experiencing the N4.1, I thought tier 0 was helpful while they're still fixing the bugs in the game.
Yeah, I mean, even the time you save, like having to go buy new armor and stuff like that too. It's not even just the
the time to action or whatever is like drastically increased.
Yeah, so that is undoubtedly a positive, and you're probably right that it doesn't outweigh for most people the negatives that I've experienced. I mean, my biggest negative is I love looting. So like looting a body clean, that for me personally, it like that is such a huge negative that I just But I understand that doesn't matter for most people. But I'm me.
Well, no, I was going to get to that. It makes that's the other part for me is that it makes you kind of not interested in that in some ways, right? So like I did get most of my stuff from 4.0, right? So most of my stuff came over. So I'd done a bunch of bunker missions. So I have a ton of guns and armor, right? And so now I usually just stack up anyway because I'm going to die eventually. So I want to keep having some of my favorite armor. But now when I'm out doing stuff, I'm like, do I really want to loot this thing that I already have 4 of them? Like, do I need another? Do I need another P8? Do I need another P4? And it's like, no. And so that kind of takes away from the experience when you're out in the verse doing stuff and you come across something that you usually in the past would have looted anyway just to have an extra one. There's no point in doing that now.
Like MMOs, like you farm mobs, man. It's like what you do.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
There's also like, they literally just introduced like the tweaker modules and stuff. And yeah, I would want a lot of them for like multiple guns, and because I want to have essentially insurance for them by having more. Yeah. Now you just need one, right?
Just need 1 or 2. I guess.
It's a lot. Like it'll still be exciting to do it that first time, and then I'll be like, and now I've got that, and I don't want to go into C-zones anymore.
But I will say this: this is kind of the reverse of what we always say. But if like when you're doing a react on something CIG puts out and they're talking about 1.0 or what's coming in the future, everyone in the chat and even Salty would be like, yeah, we just take CIG's word for a grain of salt because, they can change at any time or they can just not do something. Maybe this is the reverse, right? Maybe they put out this tier 1 and tier 2 plan and it's like, that's going to change too. And it's just going to be, they're going to hear the feedback. Because I can't imagine that we're alone on this. I think a lot of people just like having this stuff. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's been playing for a little bit longer than me. And he likes the idea of just getting his stuff back. But then as we talked more through it, he was like, oh, I kind of think that'd be like cool. Like instead of, it's kind of a pain if someone can just respawn with all their stuff. Like then it feels like you're playing Call of Duty. Right,
Yeah,
everyone's just right back
literally
in the spot where you
zombies, dude. It was crazy. How it was just they came back instantly. The same people you just killed 5 minutes ago. You're just like, oh my god, they didn't even fly in a ship. They just appeared there because they were on a ground vehicle that you couldn't see on radar somewhere. It was just like, oh my god, come on, you know. So there was a lot of just like goofy, weird edge cases. That's really what like my experiences are definitely edge cases, right? But the yeah, I think I get why everyone's like this is better because it's better for them. But overall, over time, a healthy game is best for everyone, and this is not conducive to a healthy experience because everyone will eventually experience what I experienced hyper fast, and it's not going to be a great experience for them most likely. Whether it's not being able to loot or whatever. Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about it is the tier, because I don't want to go too far in the future because I know you mentioned that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of made me worry about crafting, right? And when we're going to actually get crafting, because it seems to me like the obvious solution is that you get a blueprint, right? You get something, you can generate a blueprint from it, and then that's how you recreate it. But if they don't even mention that, it seems like tier 1 is going to be out way before crafting. I'm speculating, but it makes me seem like that because the idea of just crafting your stuff back, knowing how to rebuild it, seems like the obvious middle ground to I don't lose my cool gun that I have, but I also can still, other people can still loot it and you can have that gameplay in the game.
It almost seems like Wicklow is that.
Yeah.
Like if you bring the test of you bring the resources, you get the thing. It almost seems like Wicklow. That is what Wicklow is. That's what the 4.1 barter guy is.
Yeah, rather than a test of tech, it's more a test of like how would players get these materials? How would they interact with them in order to turn them into a crafter or whatever?
Yep. How quickly, all that stuff. I don't know. It really feels that way to me. As like this is their
otherwise why have
for,
them at all? Yeah,
whether you're going to a person or a terminal or something like that, it's the game is taking something in and giving you something back. Maybe this is just a test for that. I have no idea, but
yeah, that'd be cool. My last thing, because I know we're at the end with 4.1, is I'm not in the org, so I play with a couple buddies. Sometimes it's just a pair, 2 of us, but then it's usually somewhere between 2 and 4 is my group.
Oh, finally, I really want to hear what your experience has been so far. Then,
and so it was just like, there's so much stuff in this game that's always for me that like maybe I'll just wait on Hawthorne because I see it and I'm just like, I'm probably not going to be able to get through this with just me and my buddy. That's probably not going to work out right now. But in 2 months, most of these orgs would have gone through this whole process, and maybe I'll be able to go in and check it out and see.
I don't even think 2 months. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's probably a bit faster than that. But there's also even with that, there's also a world where like obviously the big part of it that is like org only pretty much is when the cave opens, right? Because it's gonna be too easy to protect that, so you're gonna have big fights there. But the parts that like little groups can do, where it's like align one of the satellites or grab one of the batteries, you can also use that and be like, hey, big org, we've got 3 batteries. How much you paying? Or like, give us a bit of your.
You can
what's the name of the material again? Yeah, so there is ways for you to do it still.
Yeah. Give us 20 Karenite.
Yeah, give us some Karenite and we'll give you some batteries, right? And that sort of stuff means that you can kind of still participate in it. It's just it's a bit more of a roundabout way.
Yeah, I found it weird though because. I have been able to do something like the Kopion horn, like for those missions, and those areas have almost turned into a PvP thing.
Oh yeah,
which
people
is weird,
are fighting over them because they're hard to find.
Yeah, and so I expect it to be like disabled and then boarded for someone to take my Kopion horns, but I just got my ship blown up completely. So the next time I came with my buddy, he had a Hornet, and I was just in an Intrepid. I was just in the basic Intrepid because I like to. Like I have a couple other ships, but I was just like, oh, this seems like a cool ship to just go pick stuff up, not to like kind of role play with it. And so we beat F7C with just an Intrepid and a Super Hornet.
Oh my goodness!
We kind of ganged up on them and took them down. We came back and killed the same person. So it's been kind of cool doing those little things as just a little small group. So I found you always find a niche. Like I have a lot of issues with this game. But the issues that I hear people complaining about when they're just like, "Oh, it's too much PvP," or "This is not good for a solo person." MMO, for it to exist, has to have gameplay for all the people, and that doesn't mean we get to do it all. Because if we get to do it all, then what's the point, right? If I can do if I can get everything in the game by being a hauler or just doing bunker missions, then why would anyone why would I ever learn how to mine, or why would I interact with a miner, or why would I interact with a medical gameplay person? Like, everything should have unique items or experiences so that everyone can have fun in the game, and then it creates in game. It creates that player-driven economy because you have unique stuff that other people don't want to go into to get.
Yeah. I'm really glad we talked to you and got you in.
Yeah, that was good.
Because I think it's just that's a healthy way to look at things like this. Like, it's okay that you can't necessarily participate in everything or at the first moment when it all happens. But you know what? There's a lot of orgs that have been sitting around doing nothing or making shit up for years. And even in this case, you still kind of are making it all up. But they finally got their bone for a little bit. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
So thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, man.
But I love the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
I
appreciate it.
Thanks
so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Be good.
Catch you,
All
man.
right. I think that's where we leave it then. So we put Lux's thing on there, but we're not going to be able to get him in, and we're already past that time. But yeah, we thank you for watching. And again, that's really where I want to hammer home, like when you guys write in the comments and stuff, is not how you want to change tier 0 or how you want to change something, but like, what has your experiences been when you got in there? Was it better? I think a lot of people are saying that it's good. And again, I think we'll see maybe how that changes over time and what CIG decides to do with it. And I think that that's the healthy way to look at it. Again, I'm going to die on my hill most likely. I think it's a certain way, but I want to hear what other people are experiencing, because anyone's mind can be changed, and I'm willing to be open. I don't want to be, but I'm willing to be open on it, right? So yeah.
And to sort of end it for this week, big thing is just if this patch gets more stable, which it got a lot more stable today, admittedly, if it gets more stable this week and we get more opportunities to play this activity, we get a much better idea of how it's going in the verse, because a lot of people just aren't doing it at the moment, and we'll sort of see where we're at next week. Do we know what the video content this week is going to be?
No.
Okay.
There won't be. I'm 99% sure they're on their hiatus again because the patch came out.
Possibly, because I remember Jared during IRC said he'll be back in 2 weeks. There will be an IRC in 2 weeks. So,
but there was an IRC
at the very least that should be happening. No, that's what I'm saying. So when they do their hiatus, it's usually 4 weeks, right?
Oh yeah, it won't be super long.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for an SCL on tier 0, these things. I want to hear from them. So hearing it from us, but yeah, maybe they want.
We should also have a monthly report this week.
True.
Which hopefully is a little bit interesting. So a little bit of news coming this week, but now we're all waiting for the next PTU.
Yeah. So all right, guys, that is where we'll leave it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Check us out on Twitch, myself, Croncy. And I'm sure we'll be doing a ton of this. So thank you for watching. And don't forget
to answer the call.
Oh, that was a nice one. That was sweet.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That was a sweet one. Now I'm sad.